everybody, and welcome to the Thescottshow wake-up call. We are making it happen today. Today's the 11th of October. And, folks, I got to tell you, we are having a few issues here on the Thescottshow podcast. Coming up with some thumbs up and thumbs down. We post these on Facebook, so if you guys want to add in your 2 or 3 cents, by all means, give me a big shout-out here at Scott Yazel on Facebook. If you're not our friend, and you want to be somewhere in the circle of where you can send us messages, you can always send us stuff on YouTube. Also, and Speaker.com, where we make all these beautiful websites. The 102550 website, and all these awesome podcasts that we have going on here, including the Wake Up Call, the 102550 show, and the awesome comedy show that we do with the Scott and Kyle Primetime Show. So check all of them out on YouTube and Speaker.com. And I want to thank everyone for coming to the Wake Up Call show today. Today's the 11th, like I said. It's 2 more days, and it's Friday the 13th. That's super scary, and somebody's going to have to check out the new movie Happy Death Day, coming out on the 13th. I kind of want to see it. I'm not a big movie goer. I'm not. But I don't mind when a good movie comes out and I get to see it. And Happy Death Day kind of looks like a good one there. So, who knows if I'm going to go see it. Tuesdays are a really good day to go to the movies as well, because it's like $5 movie Tuesday here in town. I think all the Marcus theaters do that. If you guys have a deal somewhere in your town, I know that all of our listeners aren't from Duluth, which is really great. We have some awesome listeners in Spokane, Washington. A big shout out to them. Yesterday was World Homeless Day, and World Homeless Day had a big effect all across the nation and the world. In England, in Ireland, they had big events. And in Spokane, Washington, at the Union Gospel Mission there, they did a thing with Chili's. I thought that was really cool, the restaurant Chili's. And also they had people standing outside saying, hey, it's World Homeless Day. There you go. Now, I know that there are some sleepouts coming up this weekend, both in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and in Superior, Wisconsin. Big shout out to everyone who's going to be involved in doing those. It's a little colder. It's not summertime anymore. I know that because I ran last Saturday at the Harvest Run. It was a beautiful day still. But it's not summer. So, and we have winter coming right towards us, and that's just the way it works. So we are going to start today with the thumbs up and thumbs down, and the checkiday.com, our 2 wonderful segments here on the show. We'll go to the checkiday.com first, because I'm sure you guys want to hear all the great ups and downs that we have. I'm not going to try to scream in the mic, but I got a good one. So there are a lot of days today. A lot. Wow. All right. It's You Go Girl Day. It's Emergency Nurses Day. Big shout out to all the emergency nurses. It's General Pulaski Memorial Day. It's International Day of the Girl Child. International Top Spinning Day. Myth and Legends Day. It's National Bring Your Teddy Bear to Work and School Day. It's National Coming Out Day. National Food Truck Day. National Fossil Day. National It's My Party Day. It's my party, and I guess I'll cry if I want to. National Pet Obesity Awareness Day. It's National Sausage Pizza Day. National Stop Bullying Day. National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day. It's Southern Food Heritage Day. And Stop America's Violence Everywhere Day. And I'm going to give a big shout out to everyone who makes authentic, really good Southern food. Because I love myself some Southern food and Caribbean food. All that stuff is really good. I'm a big fan of grits. I love myself some collard greens. So, hey, if anybody wants to hook a brother up, take care of me. All right, we are good to go. All right, so we are going to give the thumbs up and thumbs down for today. We have 2 thumbs up, so I'm going to add another one here on the show. So I'm going to give first thumbs up to everyone who posted about World Homeless Day. It's super important. We can add in the second one and make it a 2-for-1 deal here. Everyone who posted about World Mental Health Day. That's a big deal. These 2 days, they correlate together for more than one reason. World Homeless Day is one of those days that we want to make sure we talk about what we do to end homelessness and poverty all across our great nation and the world. And mental health is the same thing when it comes to that, as we want to recognize the good work that's going on and the work that's yet to come. So there you go. That's our thumbs up for that. The second thumbs up for today goes along the same lines as our national days, but it is for today. It is National Coming Out Day. I do want to give a special shout out to anyone who's ever had to do that and say who they truly are to people who don't completely understand. However, I'm going to throw out this little thing that makes sure, adults, when they do this and they tell, people who they truly are and what they think, as long as it is not something that is all for attention, then it's a great thing. If it's just trying to get attention, then it's a shameful part of society. And I think that you have to be true to yourself and who you are before you make it clear who you are. If you want people to love you for you, then be you. No matter who you are, you have to be yourself. And if you're making up stuff, then that's not good. And it only demeans what people have died for. And that's your freedom to be who you are. But I'm urging everybody today to be who you are and not be somebody else or make up something else. And if you are making up something else, make it for Halloween or whatever theater production you're putting on. But outside, to your friends, to everybody else, be yourself. Because there's no better person to be. Alright, there you go. That's my second thumbs up to all the people who want to be themselves. And finally, the NFL. I'm going to give a big thumbs up to the NFL. Finally, taking a stand about all this stuff with the national anthem. And I'm excited to see that the NFL is finally taking a stand. Whether or not, it doesn't matter what it is. Whether or not it's people taking a stand over the flag or the anthem or sitting or standing or kneeling or whatever, the NFL just needs to get rid of that. It has damaged their season. I think it has severely damaged their season altogether. It is the year of tweets from the president, and I never thought that would happen, but whatever. And that's what happened. So the NFL finally takes a stand on the anthem. They are having conversations on whether or not to make that the rule that they stand. Jerry Jones has already said that it is he will bench any player who does not stand for the anthem. And there you go. Now, our thumbs down, which is our thumbs down are always a little controversial, folks, and this is nothing different. Nothing different. My first thumbs down goes to the United States soccer team. Big thumbs down to them. You know, when you think that you're so full of yourself that you're going to play a team that you are able to beat every day but Sunday. But you're just so damn full of yourself. And then they beat you 2-0 and whoop you. Then what the hell? We live in a country where we should be pulling athletes. We should have the best athletes in the world, and I think in a lot of places we do. But big thumbs down to the U.S. soccer team. Failed to qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 1986. Hey, the other teams might just be that good. But the United States didn't need to slack, and that's what they did. So, big thumbs down to them. Big thumbs down to ESPN. Big thumbs down to ESPN. I just have to say, shame on ESPN. This person, Jameel Hill, posted about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones and the whole thing on the anthem, and posted that if you don't like it, you should ban their people now, or ban their advertisers or whatever else. Now, no one who gives me the news on ESPN, gives me the sports news and all that other stuff, needs to be incredibly political like that. This is coming from a person who also called our president a white supremacist. Now, whether or not our president is or is not what he is not the point. The point is that someone used their celebrity on a sports channel to talk about our president. And regardless, I don't care who it is, this person, Jameel Hill, got suspended for 2 weeks. You know, ESPN, if I were you, if I was a smart businessman with this, that person, fired, gone, see you later. That's what I would do. That person needs to go. Bringing too much heat to the sports channel that already has too much heat. I'm not exactly the biggest ESPN fan lately, and this is just making it even worse. I think that ESPN needs to figure out a way to make things better, and you're not. So, big thumbs down to ESPN. And my last one, and might be my most controversial thumbs down of the day, I am going to give a thumbs down to every single thing that has to do with this Harvey Weinstein sexual assault allegation thing. Everything. There are trouble on both sides. And yeah, I'm going to complain because this is stupid and I don't want to see it on my damn news. So here's the problem, folks. If you want to get into the whole limelight of things, this guy Harvey Weinstein, he is a producer of movies, and he has all these women against him now, saying that he sexually assaulted them, raped them, all this other stuff. And you have very, very famous people like Gwyneth Paltrow and Angelina Jolie, and Meryl Streep came out and said something, and all these other people came out and said something. If you knew about it and you have such a big name, why didn't you say something about it? Why didn't you team up and say something? But why don't you hire a lawyer? Why don't you get somebody who has some clout? I know that this guy has money, but for Christ's sake, people, these are 25 women who are screaming sexual assault, and 3 of them, and I don't even know who they are, because they have no name recognition whatsoever, are now crying rape. And if they did get raped, go to the cops. All of this did not happen yesterday. It happened, it's now decades and years and all this other stuff. It did not happen yesterday. Now, I understand that some people did make a stink about it. Some people got a lot of money over it. And you know what? If they went and did their business and their due diligence to raise holy hell about it, then good. But the fact that we have people coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, yeah, he did this to me, it did not happen yesterday. The fact that it happened is an abomination of using your power, but it happens every day. And I'm sorry to say that it happens every day, but it does. People manipulate their power all the time. That is why we live in the world we live in and see the things that we see, is people abuse their power. This is just another one. And if you think about it, folks, demeaning this gentleman here would be demeaning most of the people in the early days of movies. I mean, they often talk about Alfred Hitchcock being not that great of a guy when it came to how he was around the ladies. Now, Alfred Hitchcock is one of the greatest directors of all time. And personally, I think everything I read about it, I think he's amazing. But again, what are you going to believe about what the story is? And now that we have cameras and video and audio and all this other stuff, it's just, to me, crazy. And so many thumbs down come on this. One thumbs down. Number one, that's to Harvey Weinstein for being an idiot and abusing his power and taking advantage of his power, because he's not that good looking of a guy at all. Obviously, money got him somewhere. Big thumbs down to everyone who didn't say anything until now. Big thumbs, because come on, you have to. If something happens and you feel wrong, say something about it. The guy might be powerful, the guy might have his thing, but there's no excuse. No excuse. And the biggest thumbs down of all on this thing is to the people that knew about it and hid the news. And big thumbs down to that, because that's just stupid to me. If you know that something is wrong and that you need to say something about it, well, then speak up. And this has happened many times before, and this will happen again, and this will be all over our news, when realistically this shouldn't be on our news. We should be talking about Puerto Rico. We should be talking about the budget. We should be talking about all the other things that we have to talk about to make a difference in this world. Instead, we're talking about something that happened decades ago to a movie producer, when we all know they're kind of scummy anyway. Shout out to all the non-scummy producers in Hollywood. All two of you, congratulations, here's a cookie. But, come on. I mean, this was society back in the 1950s and 60s, and now we're looking at it, and looking at it through different colored glasses, and seeing all the crime, and seeing all the assaults, and all this other stuff that was so prevalent back in the day. It was the way it was, and now it's not. Or it still is, and it's just coming to light. So, folks, this is just incredibly terrible and stupid, and I just want to give that a big thumbs down. Harvey Weinstein doing, I wouldn't mind seeing him do some time or something. I don't know if any of these assaults are still on the record or anything, but justice needs to be done, and karma's a bitch. So there you go. And I just swore on the show again. I have been very mean today here on the Thescottshow podcast. The Thescottshow wake-up call, making it happen. I think I'm mean because I haven't had collard greens in a while. I think that's what it is. I do want to give a few shout-outs before we leave here today. Big-time shout-out to our soon-to-be guest host, Gina, who has been worked very, very hard and making things happen. So, hasn't been able to join us, but I can't wait for that show. That'll be a lot of fun. Big shout-out to Kyle and Solar as well. who are wonderful guests on our show. Big shout out to Dave, Big Dave. Want to give him a shout out, and I will see him down at the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 3 hours away from the lovely city that I live in, the city on the hill, Duluth, Minnesota. I do want to give a shout out to Zach Filipovich, who's running for at-large city council. Big time shout out to him. I think the world of the guy, and he is just awesome. So big time shout out to him. And you know what? I right now will give a shout out to any political people who are running for office who actually knock on my door. So I'm going to give a shout out to Janet Kennedy, who is also running for at-large city council, and she knocked on my door. So I'm going to give her a shout out and say thank you. I had a wonderful person from her campaign knocking on the door, and had a good conversation. So, folks, I do not live in the greatest of neighborhoods when it comes to where I'm at. I love my house. I think it's a great place, and it's not in the ritziest place in the city. So we do not get people knocking on the door all the time. I'm a voter. I ain't going to miss a vote. So for me to say that I'm not going to miss a vote, but yet you won't knock on my door, bad karma there. Just got to give you some hell for that, folks. That people who don't do that. I've had Republicans knock on my door. So, just saying, folks. I mean, this is the way it is. So I will give a shout out to any political figures and knock on my door. Not that it is an invitation, but it is at least, hey, I will give a shout out here on the Thescottshow podcast, the wake up call, making it happen. So, folks, before we go, I need to let you know that we are going to be rocking the podcast world again today. We are making it happen with the Thescottshow podcast. We are doing the 10/25/50 show, the national show, the only one we do now. We tried to do the breakdown of the states. That didn't exactly work out the best. So we are going right back to Wednesday and Sunday doing the national shows. We got a lot to talk about today, and I'm more than excited about that. We have some other stuff coming up today, including another episode of Keeping It Local. We have a politics show coming up. We're going to talk all about Trump and Bob Corker and Rex Tillerson and just all the interesting stuff. We're going to go through the cabinet of Donald Trump. I think that'll be very interesting. Talk about the cabinet of Donald Trump. That'll be a lot of fun. And all of their wonderful stuff that they do. So that is our politics show today. We also have the pop culture show. I have not figured out a topic yet for the pop culture show, but I'm sure we'll do something fun. We'll talk about some of the shows, maybe from TGIF. How about that? We'll do the TGIF show. I think we did that before. It might be in the archives, so that'll be a good one to touch on as well. Sometimes, folks, I just make up these podcasts as I go along. Great things to talk about, topics. And I love doing these podcasts. I hope you guys love listening to the Thescottshow podcast as well. We do it up every day, 8 o'clock in the morning. The only one that will change coming up here is the one that will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I believe that that one will be super early, as I will be traveling at 8 o'clock. And then we'll be doing another podcast just before I head off and see my friend Adam get married, which is super awesome, and I cannot be more than blessed to be at the wonderful union of Adam and Jackie. So big shout out to Adam and Jackie getting ready for their big wedding in 9 days. 10 days. 10 days from now, you guys are going to be married. There you go. All right, so no pressure. All right, so folks, I'm going to head out here. It's been one of our longest Thescottshow podcast wake-up calls for a while, but I had to get that Harvey Weinstein thing off of my mind. It's just pissing me off. And I want to thank you guys for listening to the show and being a part. So make sure you say ups and downs, thumbs up, thumbs down, all these different things all the time on the Thescottshow podcast. Thank you so much. And we're going to leave you with some music. So, Maestro.